Hey guys, just wanted to hop on here and give you a quick reminder. Our first drop for 2026 is live. In this drop, we've brought back our classic tees, the ones that started this movement, as well as we've added some of our oversized tees option, so you gotta check it out. To get yours today, hop over to our website, allergic2avg.com, and go get yours. Now back to the live. Boom, we're back. Another Tune In Tuesday. And man, I am excited to share really our topic today because to be fully transparent with you, it's really a timely topic that I think not just, everybody, but to be honest, I've really needed this topic right now. It's a solid reminder, something that I've come back to often, and then even in this last season of life for me, this has had to be a reminder that I had to get back to and understanding and really get back to the truth of it, okay? And so coming back to the core of what I want to bring us into is it's really this idea that we have to get out of this illusion that we need to, stop waiting to be discovered, and instead we got to start discovering and continue to discover who we are. And so the idea that I want you to continue to carry with you through this Tune In Tuesday is this core belief that really has to be built up and concreted in you, and understanding that you don't need to be discovered, okay? And I'll explain more about, what that means, what I'm talking about. But the truth is you need to discover yourself, okay? And you need to let the light, when I talk about the light, that's the love, that's the greatness, that is the goodness of you shine through you, move through you, okay? And so I want to start with the story because I found myself in a lot of positions where I was kind of, and I think most people, this idea of like wanting to be discovered, right? So there's a guy named William Levy. And if you don't know who he is, he's a Spanish guy. He came over from Cuba when he was a teenager, and he moved to Miami. And while he was working for a construction company, just doing his thing, he got discovered by a modeling company, right? He's a good-looking dude. If you ever look him up, kind of a sexy-looking guy. I'm not even gonna lie, me being transparent, right? So he gets discovered by this modeling agency, and then from modeling, he moved into acting. He got into, different movies, different series, television, all these different things. And I think most of us, if we're honest, we feel that same way of waiting to be discovered, waiting for others to give us the permission that we are good, or that we have what it takes, or that we're qualified, right? We're waiting for that like recognition. It feels like a lot of times we are waiting to have eyes see or be acknowledged in a way before we fully show up. And the reason why I'm really passionate about this topic is because I found myself in between almost this illusion of wanting people to discover me, to see how good I am at something, or to give me the permission to be the fullest version of me, to fully show up, right? And I think if we're honest, that's a lot of us. Maybe not in the light of fame. I think a lot of people would love to be famous, but just to see the good quality, the greatness within you, right? And so there's this illusion that because we live in this social media age, we now are constantly around it, and we're so embedded into what is going on and seeing so much of the social media world that social media, what we don't realize is it highlights what a lot of people have seen as like the highlight reels, okay? Another way of saying that is it highlights just really the outcomes. And it doesn't really show the behind the scenes or the origins of stories or the origins of people, of really what it took or what really got them to the position that they're in. We see the finished maybe art or that product, or maybe it's the finished music. We see finished brands, right, and companies. We see what looks like bold and established confidence. And so even for myself, a lot of my story, from the time I was growing up and doing a lot of different things, I think even at this point, when I talk to people and maybe share with what I do across, the different companies, across the different brands, across really all the roles that I play, from DJing to professionally speaking, to owning a clothing brand, to filling a role of a CEO, to helping launch other companies, to being a father, to being a homeowner, like all these different things, people, they kind of freak out about, how did you get into doing all these? And so a lot of my story has been back to the evidence and the proof of expanding and pushing myself, discovering the potential I carry and the abilities that have led me into these positions. And so, hey, most people, what I want you to hear is most people, they aren't undiscovered. They're just more like undeclared on who they want to be or really what they have or what they are willing to give. And so, again, I want to expand into that a little bit more throughout our Tune In Tuesday today. And so, as we think about allergic to average, what we promote, what we constantly come back to, it's a new way, it's a different way of thinking and really attaching yourself onto maybe what you once knew at a time, what you once thought was true, or what you once thought was the truth behind the matter. And it's really upgrading that, right? It's getting us to see that there is upgrades, there are updates, there's decisions that need to be changed and need to be established into a position of who you actually are. That's actually true for today. And so often when we talk about the difference between allergic to average and the average, right? I want to give you some differences in realizing that the average thinks, okay, I should wait. You're right. I should get, again, that recognition. I should get the support before I actually go out and discover maybe what I could do. Intentional thinking, allergic to average individuals, they don't wait. They go on this process. They find a way to start creating, and whatever that looks like. Average will ask, well, when is it going to happen? Or what if it doesn't happen? The allergic to average, right? When you're intentional about what you're thinking and how you think, right? It's more about who am I becoming? Who could I become? And so allergic to average isn't about doing more. I've been really, I feel like a victim to this way of thinking often. I really got into like, I got to do more, right? And when we talk about, the grind, we talk a lot about the grind. That's one of our core four. The grind isn't about doing more or trying to outwork others. It's really about seeing things differently in the way that you could show up and working smarter so that you can achieve the harder, right? And so average, it wants to be seen. The average individual wants others to see maybe who they are before they're actually willing to demonstrate that. But growth, okay, when you're allergic to average and you actually see the importance of what it means to grow and that's a necessary ingredient into your recipe of success in your journey of discovery, growth chooses to become, right? You start to choose not to leave it up to chance, but to make a choice on how am I growing? How can I grow? Or what does it take to grow and so I want to expand on that a little bit more, because so much of where this stems from and what, when I talk about the light within us, and we see so much darkness. You've heard me talk about, the difference between love and fear. And so much of what I come back to a couple weeks ago, I was talking about, this idea of cause and effect. How do we move back into cause? How do we get out of living through just the effects of what's happening around us, circumstances, why we can't, and how do we get back into the creator position that we actually have and start to create from cause? And so I love this idea. One of the most recent books that I've explored and just got through is A Return to Love. And there's this idea that, look, the light is never meant to shine on you, right? But it's actually meant to shine through you. And I want to say that again, okay? The light isn't necessarily, it's not meant to shine on us, so I'm going to expand on that. But the light is actually meant to shine through you. And so some of the core things I want to highlight here and talk about is, look, love is our source and fear is learned. And so that love, that light that actually gets people to see the goodness, the greatness, the intelligence, the brilliance, the beauty that we carry in all these different ways that we can, it's actually ignited and expanded through the love that we carry in us. It's not from us, but it's in us. And it's actually something that as we explore it and we allow it to shine through us, that is our source, that is cause. And that has some great and wonderful, sustainable effects of it, right? Greatness isn't something that is earned, right? We don't earn greatness, but it's really something that we allow to be a part of who we are by understanding that that's something that is already a part of our journey. It's already a part of who we are just by being a part of this thing we call life, right? Divine intelligence, right? When we talk about God, when we talk about love, when we talk about really the bigger thing that we have access to in this life that allows us to be the light that we all want and we need in this world. That divine intelligence, it moves through our willingness. It's again, it's deciding, it's declaring over and over again who you are going to be, who you want to be. And it's not about what so many of like the average people get caught in, which is this idea and this illusion of perfection, right? If I could just be perfect at it, or if I can get to that level, if I can achieve it, look like this, have these types of results, then maybe I'll be good enough, right? So this idea that your greatness and the light within you is going to be discovered whenever you're perfect, whenever you're funny enough, whenever you're smart enough, whenever you're good enough, actually, it needs to be shattered. We need to get rid of this lie, this illusion. And so getting back to your willingness is really everything. Your willingness to discover who you are, how far you've come, what it takes, and your ability to continue to get back into that is really what partners your light to be seen by others. The more and more that you are willing to step into that. And so there's this idea, and I feel like a lot of us, we fall into this myth of, again, being discovered by others or letting the world maybe one day find out they're going to see who we are. And I want to expose those lies, because a lot of times we might think, okay, once I'm discovered, and when I say discovered, there could be a lot of ways that we equate that way of being discovered. So it's like maybe once that guy or that girl, I find them, they find me, they see who I am, then I'll really be that faithful partner or spouse that, I'm meant to be. Maybe some people look for being discovered by getting the job, right? Or maybe once they're able to start a business, or once they're able to create that masterpiece as an artist, or whatever it may be, right? So they think, okay, once I'm discovered, once I have it, then I'll start, right? That's a lie, okay? Or once I have it figured out, then I'll show up. And so much of, again, going back to my story and how much this is related, has never been that way. Even as a speaker, a lot of people I'm so grateful for have given me amazing feedback and comments and just reminded me of, what looks like the greatness that I can carry when I speak, and the confidence I have, and, the results I've helped people to tap into. And this has never been, anytime I've DJ'd, anytime I've spoken, anytime I've been a part of any of these roles in the business owner position, in the leadership roles, this has never been something that I had figured out. This has actually been over and over again, me having the willingness to show up. Sometimes, yes, look dumb. Sometimes feel dumb, right? And still continue to discover, where can I learn? How can I get better? Where can I grow in this? And that is not only true for me, but so many of the great people, the wonderful people that we admire, that is actually their story. That is actually what has gotten them there. And so we have to get out of, again, this false way of thinking, this lie that tells us, okay, once I'm ready, once these things are in position, then I'll go, then I'll start creating, then I'll show up. It's actually the opposite of that. And so the truth is, look, no one ever gets discovered before they first demonstrate. No one's ever going to notice. No one's ever going to see your greatness. They're never going to, quote unquote, tap in and invest, whether that's time, energy, money, whatever it is that we're looking for. You'll never get discovered before you first demonstrate. So we have to remember that. And your identity, who you are, understanding that, discovering that, and continuing to upgrade that, it will always precede your recognition, okay? Identity always precedes recognition. So it's not so much about being recognized for your abilities or what you have done, but really who you are gets you in the room. Who you are and who you've created yourself and discovered that you could be is what gives you the opportunity to be recognized. And so we have to remember that. And so, the artists, they don't, this idea, I want to give you an example. Artists don't, to any capacity, whether that's actual like artwork and paintings, whether that's a tattoo artist, whether that's, a sculptor, like an artist of any kind, they don't wait to create before they're known. If anything, they discovered that this is the way that this way of creating really, it makes their heart sing. It really ignites them. It's something they need to do, right? Leaders lead before they're ever followed, right? Businesses start before they're ever polished and figured out. And so discovery follows demonstration. And so my question to you, and I want you to, continue to ask yourself is, hey, where are areas, where are places in my life that I need to continue to demonstrate, right? I need to, as you spend time discovering what's kept you stuck or why you've been waiting or why you're just not showing up in that area, where is it that you could start to demonstrate and create and start to really expand and explore these different ways that, again, allow us to discover who we are and what we're capable of. And so that becomes something that really separates the average, common thinking, individuals from the intentional, allergic to average individuals. And so much of this goes back to, you have to tap into what is actually the source of what allows and reminds you of why you have to create, why you have to go, why you have to try before you're ever ready. Because the reality is, the truth is, you'll always find, and you can challenge me if you think I'm wrong on this, we actually never feel ready. Okay, when we are going through our discovery and finding out what are things that we want to do, what are things that we want to try, what are things that we want to go for, what are things that we want to build, you're never actually ready. And so again, don't wait to, maybe if you're somebody that wants to be an artist in any capacity of being an artist, whatever that looks like for you, don't wait to be an artist. Just start to create that type of art, whatever that looks like, right? Don't wait to be a speaker. Don't wait till you are qualified and you have the title, right? But start using your voice. And that's one of the things I had to start doing, right? Don't wait to be a leader, but what if you started to just lead right where you're at? And so much of leadership too is right where you're at is allowing yourself to lead yourself into what I'm talking about, which is one of many areas, but leading yourself into discovering who you are and what you're capable of and what you want to create and what you want to give to this world. And so clarity, it unfolds and it expands, right? Getting clear on what you can do and what you're going to do and what you're able to do, that expands through the movement, through the actual doing, through the actually going through some demonstration, trying, for lack of better words, just trying and making an example, giving yourself evidence of how you can. And so it's not, clarity doesn't come just by thinking and trying to outthink yourself into a different state, into a different position in life. But it's actually through the demonstration, it's actually through the movement of trying and trying again and expanding and learning that we get a little bit more clear on what we can do and what we want to do and what we're able to do in this life, right? So You don't have to find your voice, right, by waiting. You have to find it, and you get to find it by using it. And so that's part of this discovery process and discovering who you are, that I'm really expanding on today. And so much of, again, when we talk about social media, what's really crushing so much of, especially our younger generation, but not only them, I'm talking young adults, and I'm talking the older adults, and, the full-fledged oldest adults that we have existing in this world. It's even having an impact on them is this comparison that we do. You've heard me talk about it before. And if you haven't, so much of what I bring us back to an understanding, and including myself, is we go back to this thing that we have on social media and what we see on, YouTube and all these other facets of social media. And we get this behind the scenes look, or sometimes the lack of, I should say, maybe a little bit of where they're at now, what it looks like, the lifestyle that they have, right? And we are comparing ourselves to what their life looks like now, how great they are now, right? Their highlight reels, how far they've come now, right? And we make this assumption, we fall into this illusion again that these other people have it figured out. And again, I told you this in the very beginning. This is a Tune In Tuesday message that I had to remind I'm speaking this message to myself, because I have to constantly come back to this illusion and this comparison thing that we do when we see others further in their journey, when we see others who are creating and they've been on this process a little bit longer. We start to think, man, they got it figured out. Somehow they know more than me. They're better than me. They're more intelligent. I mean, the list goes on. And we think that others have figured out something before they ever started. When the truth is, and we're seeing more and more of that, even on social media through powerful interviews and podcasts. And, one of my favorites when I have some Netflix time is I love watching documentaries and really seeing the behind the scenes of what it took for those individuals, those companies, those groups of people that established something amazing, what it took for them to discover that, right? To go into that process and to actually build that. And so it was so much of them getting into the source of having love, build the faith that they could be, they could accomplish, they could go, they could get this done before they ever started, before that it was ever accomplished. And so, so much of what we have to see is this is not only true for what we see around us. I want to bring that back. It's not only true for, individuals and companies and brands and all these other things, but this is the truth for us too. Whatever level of greatness that you are here to carry, whatever level of brilliance and beauty and love that you have, because every single one of us has it. We all contribute to that in this world, and we all become an experience of that. That is unraveled, and it's able to be experienced more and more by people and the people around you. Even right now, the more that you tap into discovering the truth about who you are, right? Not, again, these illusions and these lies that we fall for and that we sometimes convince ourselves of. And so, hey, I want to bring it back to understanding that self-discovery is the real work, right? That is the actual work that needs to be done. Again, it's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's actually the more that you take on this process of discovering who you are and what you're capable of and what it may take, right? There's a lot of layers that I could get into that. But just this idea that, hey, self-discovery is the real work that you have to take on and that you must take important. And so, I could expand into that, like I said, but whatever that looks like for you, it's so different. And in the last couple of weeks, I've even talked about, the importance of slowing down and being still and using, meditation, using prayer, taking walks. Sometimes it's just talking to another trusted person. That's another layer. Those are elements that take us back into discovering who we are more and more and deepening that. And so I want to, when we talk about so often allergic to average, and even the shirt I'm wearing, right, within the heart and the mind, right, you may not be able to see that clearly, but it has the half brain and it has half heart, and they're combined. And because, self-discovery is one of the most overlooked disciplines. It's something that, again, the average doesn't see as important to spend time with yourself, to know you so that you can grow you, to really discover what are my passions, right? What is it that I could really give? What is it that I really want to give? And not letting money be the biggest, influence on what you're going to do in this life and how you can actually expand this gift of life that you have. But getting back into the passions and the purpose and really, what it is that you are able to expand and give to the world around you. And so you don't discover who you are by being chosen. In fact, I would say if you are a part of this thing we call life, you're already chosen, because you're here, you're in it, you're experiencing it, and you're a part of, again, what I call the contribution of different models and different expansions of this thing that we call and we acknowledge as the light. Because, when I talk about love, when we talk about fear, so much of this goes back to, light versus dark. And darkness only exists when light is not present, when it's not there. The absence of light is how we find the dark, how we see darkness. And so simply you showing up eliminates more and more of, call it the evil, call it the hate, call it the fear, right? It eliminates that when you show up. And it's not the other way around. It's simply the light is what extinguishes and completely gets rid of the darkness. And so each one of us has a different contribution of that light, a different model of that light, a different demonstration of that light. And to know your highest impact of what that light is for you and how you can continue to expand and illuminate that light, it comes back to what we're talking about today, discovering, right? And you choosing how you want to be the light, how you're going to be that light. And so again, in our A to A declaration, there's a part that says we don't leave it to chance, right? We're not leaving it to chance, but we've made a choice. We're choosing. And so when you go on this discovery, and this isn't just a one-time thing, right? This looks different through your seasons of life and what you allow yourself to get to and accomplish, and then kind of going back into, okay, where am I at? What needs to change? What needs to upgrade? And so it's an ongoing process of discovering and upgrading and learning who you are. But that goes constantly, in that process and that journey of doing that goes back to your willingness to discover by choosing who you want to be, that choosing and declaring who you're going to be. And so a couple of questions I want to, as I kind of start bringing it to a close here, but I wanted you to kind of reflect on and really kind of process for yourself is, one would be, what do I feel called to express? And I got to bring it back to, just so we're on the same page. When I'm not talking about so many people, they can hear my message or me talk, and they can look out of a lens. Sometimes it's easy to look out of, ego or the fear way of thinking or the self-centered, right? Self-discovery is not being self-centered. It's allowing you to be focused on who you are and discovering a better way so that you can be more selfless, right? And so when I'm asking you, how do you feel called to express? What are the areas, what are the things in life that ignite you, that really gets your heart singing, gets you ignited for wanting to bring maybe some type of change or wanting to maybe expand something that has been changed? Okay, so how do you feel called to express? Or what keeps showing up in my heart? Maybe it's something that, and just the thoughts of it doesn't make a ton of money, or no one's ever done it, maybe around you. And It doesn't seem like something that you could do and, make an entire living off of, but it keeps showing up in your heart. It's a need, it's a desire it's a problem that hasn't been fixed, but what is it that when your heart speaks and it keeps coming back to something, what is that? What could that be? Or maybe another question for you is, where am I waiting instead of creating? Again, maybe you want to be an artist, or you want to be a leader, you want to be a speaker, you want to be a vlogger. I don't know. And again, I've had to come back to this because I've fallen in different seasons and different times of my life for waiting for, again, somebody else to see my greatness, somebody else to give me the validation and the permission to be that and to go on and create that. And I thank God that, at least at this point in my life now, I have enough good people, because that's been an intentional work of being good and wanting to see the good around me, that God has blessed me with really intentional, good-hearted people that remind me that, hey, even though you don't have 1 million subscribers, even though you're not, necessarily famous, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be creating. Don't wait, right? Don't wait to get your count or your income or, your recognition to this level. Just keep on creating. Just continue to carry through on that. And so I want to kind of bring it to an end here and tie it all together. I know I like to try to keep these within a 30-minute mark. And, what I was wanting to just bring us back to is, allergic to average, you being an allergic to average individual and not settling for just being comfortable or just being okay. It means refusing to wait. Again, waiting for the permission, waiting for the recognition, waiting for the endorsement, waiting for the money, waiting for the right circumstances. It means you continue to go. And as you go, you'll continue to grow. Another idea of just getting us back to some key takeaways is, understanding that, hey, love is the source. Love is really what keeps you pure-hearted in this journey of life, because life gets messy, it gets ugly, it can get brutal at times. It can get really hard to just keep yourself out of just doing what is best for only just you and nobody else, right? Love is the source that allows us to be the light, that allows us to continue to shine and eliminate the ugly, average, or even below average things that we experience or that we've been subject to in this life. And so you are a source of that. You are a contribution of that. You're a demonstration of that. And love is your source. Love is the source, okay? And so another takeaway I wanted to remind you of is creation is the proof, right? It's what, when we look at scripture, it's the fruit. It's what, we need for us as individuals to continue to grow and carry on into the next level of discovering something good or great or to be built. But it's also what allows us to one day get the recognition, the amazing feedback, the fame, the money, but it happens within the creation, you creating and you continuing to build that actually gives the evidence and gives the proof that shows the fruit in your life for not only yourself, but to others, that you can be trusted, that you have been there, you have built, you have done, you have put in the time, you're a loyal person in this area. And so creation is the proof. And discovery is the byproduct, right? As you're doing this expands. It's kind of like a full circle of starting to allow yourself to discover your abilities, your talents, where you want to grow, the love in you, right? And as you're creating these things, you're expanding these things, you're demonstrating these things in life, then that becomes a byproduct of you discover in the next season a higher level of what could be. Because in a past level or a past season of your life, when you chose to not be stagnant, not wait, not settle, and push for more, that allowed you to discover, oh, wow, I'm actually capable of more than I thought. I'm actually stronger than I thought I was, mentally, physically, emotionally, right? I'm actually more powerful. I'm actually more resilient than I realized I could be or would be in a scenario like that. So that allows you to see and discover into higher, newer levels. And there's something beautiful that unfolds within that. And so as I ended on this, guys, I wanted to remind you, look, stop waiting to be discovered, right? And in whatever facet or fashion that could be. Stop waiting for the world to discover you and discover who you are and let the world catch up. That's how it's always going to happen, okay? Discover who you are and let the world catch up. Stop waiting to be discovered by the world. And so this week, I want to end you on this. I want to kind of challenge you, okay? Create something with your mind, with your words, with your experience. Maybe it's a new something, like something you've had on your mind. You've had this idea, like find a way, whatever that looks like. I'm challenging you though to create something. It's going to require you to probably step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, especially if it's something you haven't ever done. But create something, create an experience for somebody. Maybe you've always wanted to. Maybe that's blessing them, paying for something. Like say something. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's you always thought it would be nice, or anytime you got the acknowledgement of somebody acknowledging you in public or asking you how you're doing, or what. But maybe there's somebody you've been needing or wanting to talk to, right? Good or bad. Like maybe you feel bad in the sense of like, I've been needing to address this, and so you're not so excited about that. But I would challenge you this week, say something, talk about it. It didn't have to be harsh and ugly. It didn't have to be as bad as we often make it up in our mind, but start something. Even and the big challenge in this is I want you to do it before you feel quote unquote ready. So to have that conversation, to do that thing, maybe it's to go to that place, maybe it's to bless that person or to be a blessing in any capacity. The biggest challenge is I want you to do that before you allow yourself to be convinced that you need to be ready or that you're not ready. Okay. And so that's my challenge to you. And this is part of continuing to allow yourself to discover who you are. And this falls into so much of what the Allergic to Average flow of what we want to help people do is to, one, discover, and then we want to empower them, and then we want to challenge them. And so today I really wanted to talk about what this looks like to discover. Discover not only another aspect of who you are and just this idea of what this could look like, but I wanted you to get into an actual personal, really example and really a demonstration of what this looks like and feels like for you as an individual, whoever you are watching this. And so I challenge you with that this week. Create something. And if you could, and if you would, and you take that on, I want you to share that at some point in the comments back on this live if you watch this. And if you share that and you actually go that far, I have some type of, I promise you, a gift for you. That might be an 8A shirt, that might be a decal, that might be a hat, but I want to give you something for taking on that challenge and really allowing yourself to discover what could be something new, what could be something different. And I'm telling you, on the other side of discovery, we just never know. We just never know what expands and what allows us to become. The more that we dream of and we know we're capable of, the more that we have a desire for, this actually makes it tangible and actually allows us to cross that bridge, to bridge the gap between, oh, that would be cool, to, wow, this is really cool. This is awesome. So, man, I'm going to end it there. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Again, remember the challenge. Remember to drop that and share with us. If you do that, let me know, and I'll be contacting you at some point and letting you know you got something coming your way. So that does it for me, your boy Matt Lee. Until next time, tune in Tuesday. I will see you on the next one. I'm out.